Hello?
Michelle, I think you're on mute because I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure if you're talking to us or you've been on mute for like the past 3 minutes.
Hello? Can you hear me?
If you just give us a couple minutes, our chair is working out her audio situation. So just stay on mute, stick tight. Thank you very much.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why we're doing this is because David Crane is actually here with me, and I was trying to use an external microphone, but it does not seem to be working. So I guess the potential thing was that if you can't hear David when he's speaking, just let us know, okay? Okay, getting started. Sorry about that. If you did not hear me saying that you should sign into the chat, please do so, and please note which agenda item you'd like to speak on. Apologies for the audio issues. Okay, so just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded, and now that we're back on Zoom, please leave yourself on mute. Otherwise it'll be very disruptive to the meeting. When basically the run of the meeting will be, I will give a quick rundown of the application in front of us. Then the applicant will have a chance to clarify anything that we are talking about. Then the members of the committee will have a chance to ask questions, and then we'll go to the public. If you're here from the public to speak, you'll have 2 minutes to speak on any given agenda item. And then the committee will go to the making of a resolution. I ask that everyone be respectful. I know we're back on Zoom, so just be respectful. Please do not interject with other people. Act as you would want to be treated. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is take a roll call vote of the members. Michelle Cooper-Smith present. Jesse Beck absent. David Crane present. Jamie Felber. Herman Hewitt.
Present.
Jeanette Kim.
Present.
Ellen Liu. Absent. Alex Moltano. Paul Cieros. Okay. All right, so tonight we're going to consider 4 applications and then 2 resolutions for the committee to work on about committee operations and guidance to applicants. The applications that we'll be considering are 10 Delancey Cocina, French 37 at 37 Canal Street, Dali NYC at 37 Market Street, and Gama Lounge at 50 Ave B. Jeanette, did you see if there were like people sign in for any given item more than another?
There's like incrementally one more for one thing, but not. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think I'm just gonna go in order then. With that in mind, there's only 4 applications, so not much of an order to go out of. All right, so are the applicants for 10 Delancey Cocina here? Hi, Michael. And your client is here as well?
Hi, yes, so I have Joe Cintron, Mark Tafoya, and Aidan Fogarty. Those are the 3 principals. Also joining us is Aura, and I'm gonna do my best with your last name, Naju Kaitait. She's the bar manager, so we have 4 people here
Okay,
on
fabulous.
behalf of the bar.
Just wanted to make sure that the applicants were here. Okay. So this is an application for 10 Delancey Street. This was a previously licensed location. The applicants, it was previously licensed as 1 Mile House, open from 12 p.m. to 4 a.m. all days. This application is similarly from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. It seems like a pub/bar, but with food served during all hours of operation, with pub fare and tacos. 2 of the applicants are currently license holders at 2 establishments with full on premises licenses, one the Winslow and one which is on East 14th Street, which I don't think is in CB3, it's on the north side of the street, and then Hibernia in Hell's Kitchen. And a 3rd applicant was a general manager at Central Bar at 109 East 9th Street for 8 years. There were no 301 complaints at this location, and 21 residents who live within 2 blocks signed a petition in favor of this application. Anything that you need to clarify there, Michael?
Just that the rear yard that we're seeking to license was previously licensed as part of 1 Mile House's operation. It's recorded music only, no promoted events. Yeah, I mean, you've hit the points that I was gonna emphasize. These gentlemen are experienced operators, and this is a previously licensed store. It's right next to the Bowery Ballroom. So we're happy to answer any questions you folks have.
Great, thanks. And I should note that I checked with Susan in the office. There haven't been any complaints about the previous usage of the backyard, which was used by the previous applicant, as Michael noted. Do any of the committee members have any questions about this application?
Besides what the chairperson asked, could you just give me a background on, not a background, but give me an idea of how the business will be operated, how it will be run, and why 4 o'clock in the morning?
Sure. Herman, do you want to hear from Joe Cintron, the gentleman who will be day-to-day operating the store? You know,
one of
yeah.
the owners.
Sure. So I think Joe should speak to that. Joe, you there? We have you on.
Here, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Herman, pleasure to meet you. And thanks to everybody for giving us the chance to speak. Herman, we're the way we plan.
You're speaking to the whole committee, so.
Okay, what committee?
My question, but it's the whole committee.
Sure, committee. I apologize. You're the face I see on the on my phone here. The Zoom thing is still kind of new to me, so apologies. Anyway, we plan on operating a bar tavern. I have operated a business in the Village. I'm from this neighborhood. I live in this neighborhood on 2nd Street. My mom lives on Columbia Street, so it's really a community kind of business. The reason, to start with your question about 4 a.m. is that, quite honestly, I think over the past 18 months or so, the Bowery has the Bowery has seen some things change, and we believe that operating a business till 4 a.m. will keep more people in the neighborhood, keeping crime down, and being able to monitor a lot of what's going on in the neighborhood.
Well, I disagree on the thing about crime. I mean, a club or stuff is not a law enforcement entity. So,
Sure.
you know, I usually disregard that because people come and say make it safer. It really doesn't. It maybe sometimes it attracts the worst elements sometimes. And I know it's not highly residential, and I know it's a busy street, but you know, 4 o'clock is 6 o'clock in the morning when people are getting up somewhere around to go to work. So that's my concern.
So Herman, it's Mike Palutis. I know in speaking with Joe before the meeting, they have some flexibility on the hours early in the week, and I don't know if that would alleviate some of your concern, but they are operating as a bar tavern. That's the method of operation that's being submitted to the SLA, and you know they're being transparent about that. The menu is there's a full kitchen, but the menu is not a 10-page menu. What we sent you is what's going to be served. There's a truncated menu late night, which we also sent. This applicant is going to operate a bar tavern. That is what Central Bar, where Joe worked for more than 10 years. It operated as a bar tavern primarily, and that's the business that these guys are in. So, I mean, I understand there's been some changes down in the Bowery, but I think if I can just add to what Joe said, they're operating a bar and tavern. They're not coming to you with a restaurant application. And so I think that the late hours, realistically, and it's not a club either, Herman.
Right.
It is a small store. You know, we've got 17 tables, 54 seats. There's 22 seats at the bar. It's not a huge space. It's not a club. It's not going to be live music. There's not going to be a DJ. It's going to be recorded music only. There won't be any dancing. It is a bar, and that's the way we submitted the papers to you, and that's truthfully what they're planning to do. If I could answer for Joe, I would say that the reason they're asking for 4 a.m. is because they're operating a bar, and they intend to do some late business. So we're coming to you folks with that, to being transparent.
Well, my last stuff on that is that even at that point, midweek, at least Sunday to Wednesday, at least should be less hours, late in the morning.
So they anticipate Wednesdays might be a busy night for them because of the ballroom, and I think, but I know that they could agree to do Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday closing at 2 a.m. Joe and I discussed that before the meeting, so I think that flexibility I know they have, and that still sort of works in the model for them. But beyond that, if those hours aren't, Joe would have to speak to that, but. 2 a.m. on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I know they can agree to and would stipulate to.
Gotta let somebody either pick up on that or that, but.
Herman, I just wanted just to reiterate that the previous operator also was open till 4 a.m. and I specifically checked with Susan to see if there had been any problems, and there weren't. Just for context for you.
Well, we don't have to continue duplicate something because something happened before. Operators are not the same, and businesses are not the same, and we don't have to open a club because one was there. We could turn down a club because one was there. That shouldn't be, it's the same thing as saying we have to approve a liquor license because the SLA will not do different. I'm trying to get people to get away from that, thinking that just because something was there before, something has to go back there. So, and that's will be my reasoning, and going forward, is to look at these liquor license and these operations in more for light of what is good for today, what is good going forward, and not because something was there before. We have to look at that as a committee. Those are the two explanations basically, that I don't accept that because something is there before, something has to be there, because operators are different.
So Michael, are you willing, so you do, Herman would Sunday through Tuesday, 2 a.m., Wednesday through Saturday, 4 a.m.?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm asking Herman, the committee member. Herman?
Oh.
I'll be satisfied with that at this point.
Okay. Do any committee members have any objections to that agreement? Okay. Committee members, I'm amending the resolution. Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Okay. If you're here from the public to speak on this item, would you mind just raising your Zoom hand? Jeanette, are you seeing anyone? No one? Okay. Okay, with that in mind, then I'm going to read out the stipulations. Please pay attention, applicants and committee members. All right. All right, so this is an application for a liquor, wine, beer, cider license. They'll be serving the bar, serving pub food with a kitchen open and serving during all hours of operation. Your hours of operation will be 4 p.m., opening by 4 p.m. all days, closing 2 a.m. Sunday to Tuesday, and 4 a.m. Wednesday to Saturday, indoors, and 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. all days outdoors. That includes the seating allowed under temporary open restaurants and the backyard. You'll employ a doorman 5 days a week. You will install soundproofing in areas of the main bar and rear dining room, and will install an awning in the backyard. You'll close any front or rear facade doors at 10 p.m. No DJs, no live music, no promoted events, no event with a cover fee, no scheduled performances, no more than 3 private parties per month, and no more than 10 televisions. Ambient recorded background music only. You will not participate in pub crawls. You will not have unlimited drink specials. If you have a happy hour, it will end by 7. No wait lines, and you'll have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. And just reiterating about the outdoor dining, no speakers or TV monitors in your outdoor open restaurant seating. And Joseph, you will be the point of contact.
I think we lost Joe, actually,
Oh, okay,
unfortunately.
but Joe will be the point of contact, correct?
Joe will be hands-on day to day. A question though about the awning in the backyard.
Oh, that was in the application.
Okay, do I still have Mark? I think I do. I see Mark. Mark, do you know, can you just confirm that that's the intention?
That was the intention, yes.
Okay, fine. Yep, that's good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Joe's back.
Joe's back on too.
Cool.
And then Michelle, the security is as needed, right? We're
Okay.
not, that's not going to be every night, you know, five nights a week. If there's nothing going on at the Bowery Ballroom and it's a quiet Wednesday night, you know, you might not see, you know, security there. So I that's why I indicated as needed. If we could include that.
Okay,
Thanks.
yep. Okay, committee members, any questions, comments, concerns before we move to a vote?
So was there, Michelle, I was trying to get Joe back on the call. Did you mention lines?
No line.
I can't see the stip. I know the last time we did this, you brought it up on the screen and it's not, I know we're not doing that tonight, but.
Oh yeah, I didn't share it. So
That's
well,
okay, that's okay.
You guys checked off on your questionnaire that you will not have wait lines.
Right, okay. That's fine.
Great.
That's fine. Go ahead, Michelle.
Sure. Okay, committee members, any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move this into a vote. Michelle Cooper Smith, yes. David Crane,
Yes.
Jamie Felber,
Yes.
Herman Hewitt,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Paul Sierros. I think he's frozen. But we have a quorum, so it's okay. If he comes back, I'll ask him. So the resolution passes. We will send you the stipulations tomorrow morning to sign and return to the office.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your night. Okay, moving on to number 7, French 37 LLC, 37 Canal. Are the applicants for that here?
Hi, good evening. This is Ben Savitsky for French 37. I'm the attorney. We also have on the line John Nidek, who's a principal, and Craig Atlas, who will be managing the premises.
Okay, great. And I'm rusty on my Zoom. I'm going to drop the application for this one into the chat. There we go. And I am going to read through the greatest hits for this. Okay. So this is an application for a full on-premises liquor license at 37 Canal Street between Lobo and Essex Street. The hours of operation are the original questionnaire that you're seeing is till 2 a.m. all days, but we got updated request, which is to close by 1 a.m. Tuesday to Wednesday and 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. There are 21 full on premises within 500 feet. There are 5 commercial noise complaints at this location since 2018. This applicant has 4 active licenses, one of which is in CB3 at Tijuana Picnic at 151 Essex, and then also at Acme at 9 Great Jones, Happiest Hour at 121 West 10th, and the Wife Hotel at 80 Wythe Avenue in Brooklyn, and then an inactive license from the Moxie Hotel at 26 Ann Street downtown. There were 11 commercial throw-in noise complaints at Tijuana Picnic since 2018, which is in CB3, as I noted. The Orchard Street Block Association wrote in opposition to this application because of problems with previous operators, and specifically noted the basement lounge, which is problematic. And then the Space Block Association wrote that they signed an outside agreement with this applicant so that they were supporting this application, given if the applicant was held to certain stipulations, including, as I noted, closing 12 a.m. Sunday to Monday, 1 a.m. Tuesday to Wednesday, and 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. And Ben, if I messed that up before, that's the ones that you agreed to, just let me know. 69 residents who live within 2 blocks signed a petition in favor of this application. So Ben, are those the hours, 12 a.m. Sunday to Monday, 1 a.m. Tuesday to Wednesday, and 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday?
That is correct. We agree
Okay.
to that.
All right, thank you. Sorry, that's my mistake. Okay,
Also that we would, sorry, as part of that space agreement, that we would close any outdoor seating by 10 PM nightly.
right, okay.
And
And
that's an open
also,
restaurant thing.
right, and actively monitoring sound levels in conjunction with the sound engineer and the community if necessary. Anything else that you need to clarify?
Yeah, I just want to clarify one or two things. One, we clarified the midnight thing. Two, this space was previously R&D and Bridget, I think it was called. They had a 2 AM license, which was what we were originally coming in at. And we reached out to Space, Orchard Street Block Association, and Friends of the Lower East Side. John actually spoke with Space and had a really good conversation with them, and was able to come to some sort of agreement to reduce the hours of operation. The cellar is, and I know that Orchard Street Block Association said that they had an issue with the cellar. We are going to be having, this premises is over 2 floors. It is going to be dining on both floors. We're going to be operating a modern Parisian bistro here, and John can explain a little bit more about that. We are having a full menu, as I mentioned, dining on floors 1 and on the cellar floor, so it's not like it's going to be a lounge. The only other thing I just wanted to mention, John's a good operator. He's been operating for quite a while. If you've seen this corner recently, and we submitted pictures of it as part of our application, since R&D left, it's kind of become overrun with graffiti and stuff. It's a really beautiful place if you look inside of it. It's really well done. John's going to clean it up as far as the outside of it, and we think that it's going to be something that's going to be a benefit to the community. With that, I'll open it up to questions. Or John, if you want to say anything.
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to it. Hi, I'm John Neidick. Thank you, everybody, for having us. Yeah, we're looking to do like a neighborhood Parisian-inspired cafe. We want it to be something that fits in the neighborhood. We want the price to be in line with the rest of the neighborhood. Like we're looking to add to the neighborhood and become a part of it, not create something that doesn't fit or feels like it's in a totally different category. And yeah, as Ben said, we're responsible operators. We've never closed a venue before, and we do that because we take precautions to make sure that we operate in a responsible way. And we look forward to becoming part of the community.
And just,
I lived right around the corner for 4 years on Essex and Ludlow, on Graham between Essex and Ludlow.
And just because it wasn't mentioned before, recorded background music only. Obviously, doors and windows all closed at 10 PM nightly. And we did submit an additional page of signatures in total. I think we had 78, although I think you knocked down some of those. And that a lot of them were from people who live in the building.
Great, thanks. Any questions from the committee for these applicants? And committee, I would suggest that we add in the stipulations, we've done this before, is to say that there must be tables in the cellar level for dining to ensure that it's not used as a club space.
Well, it doesn't look like there's room given the diagram that we're looking at on page 33. It looks like it's. Are those tables or are those bars?
Yeah, so on the side, those are tables. I think in the cellar there are 12 tables and then 24 seats that are all around it. So it kind of looks like there aren't, but those are actually the tables. They're small. It's a small space.
Tables. Yeah, there's seating and tables.
Great. Any other questions from committee members? Okay, well, we can always ask questions once we hear from the public. Oh, Paul, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask members of the public to put up your Zoom hands if you'd like to speak on this agenda item. Okay. Jeanette, I only see one, right?
Yes, and then someone clapped.
Who's clapping?
Marcel clapped.
Okay, Marcel, I think you want to speak on this, right?
I just had a couple questions, and one, could you hear me?
Yeah, just yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
Just quickly, regarding the application, the menu that was on the application, is that the final menu, which was a concern? And also the concern obviously is the cellar, because as you guys know, that area is already like the nightlife, what it turns at night. We're just concerned with the cellar because there were parties going on there before with the other like promoted parties and that sort of thing. So that was a big concern for other residents around that area. I did see that the hours were changed. So that is a better thing, but those just were my two main questions and that I wanted to speak on. That was a concern.
So, Brett, we hope that the
Yeah.
hours and reducing the hours shows you that we're serious about this being operated as a restaurant. The menu is representational. It does give a sense of what we're going to be doing, though. We are going to have entrees of, chicken, fish. We're also going to have sandwiches, salads, hors d'oeuvres, things like that. John, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, the downstairs is not going to be a club, like, period, full stop.
Okay. Yeah, that's the big. Like,
No, I get it.
elephant in
I
the
get
room
it.
for us.
Yeah, no, I completely understand the concern. It's a valid concern. There's a downstairs space. People make downstairs spaces into clubs. And yeah, like Ben said, like the menu is representational, but like there'll be a number of composed dishes, but for me to tell you right now that that's exactly what the menu is going to look like in 6 months, but like it's going to be food. Like,
Okay. All right.
Okay, thanks, Marcel. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Linda Jones, go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm representing the Space Block Association, and as you know, we did reach an agreement with John. We're very pleased with his concept and we're very glad that of the 3 spaces that had closed down during the pandemic, this is the last one, and that it will have a good operator and we won't have an open space there. We had one stipulation that you didn't mention, Michelle, that you probably should put in, and it says the downstairs door opening on Ludlow Street will be used for emergency egress only. And that relates to Marcel's concern about that space being used for something other than additional restaurant space. So it's an emergency door. It's not meant to be the door that your party can come in through or something like that.
Okay.
So in general, we're pleased with this and we're pleased with John. We had a nice talk. He's been very collegial and cooperative, and I'm sure we'll be a good neighbor.
thanks.
Great, thank you, Linda. Okay, committee, do you have any other questions? Okay, I would suggest then that we add that both that this they must have tables in the cellar level for dining, and that the door on Lobo Street will be used for emergency egress only. Any objections?
Good.
Great. All right. And just to clarify, will you have the kitchen open during all hours of operation?
Kitchen is going to be closing at 1 a.m. So pretty much all hours of operation.
Can't have the kitchen open. It has to be open full hours.
We'll have food available all hours of operation, but our kitchen,
Okay.
is going to be closing at 1 a.m. on nights that we're open until 2 a.m.
Okay, so I'm gonna have, let's say with the full kitchen open until,
We could do an hour before closing because we were anticipating the 1 a.m. based on the 2 a.m. So if we're closing at midnight on Sunday through Sunday and Monday, it would be 11 p.m.
okay, so I'm gonna say with the kitchen open until within 1 hour of closing all days, and food available during all hours of operation.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I make one point there? I feel like we've not done that for any other applicant. We've kind of always said.
Well, we want, the difference here is that there will be food available. Like we sometimes have like a late night menu that's not like a full, a full menu. So that would be, I'm fine with that. Okay, anyone else on the committee?
I agree with you.
Great. Okay, I'm just gonna run through the everything then. Please pay attention, applicants and committee. It's for a full liquor license for a French cafe at 37 Canal Street with the full kitchen open within 1 hour of closing all days and food available during all hours of operation. Opening no later than 11 a.m. all days, closing by 12 a.m. Sunday to Monday, 1 a.m. Tuesday to Wednesday, and 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. You will employ a doorman security as needed. You will install soundproofing and it will address any soundproofing deficiencies as necessary with a sound engineer. You will close any front or rear facade doors at 10 p.m. No DJs, no live music, no promoted events, no event with a cover fee, no scheduled performances, ambient recorded background music only. You will not apply for an alteration without coming back here. You will not participate in pub calls, no unlimited drink specials, no happy hour, no wait lines, staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. You'll close all outdoor dining allowed under the temporary open restaurants program by 10 p.m. and not have televisions or speakers. You will use an online reservations and texting system to ensure that patrons do not block the sidewalk. And you will have tables in the cellar level for dining. And you'll only use the door on Ludlow Street for emergency egress. All sound right?
One thing I did want to mention, you might have caught this. We are opening at 9 a.m. on the weekends. I think you said no later
That's
than
fine.
11.
So it's just opening no later than 11.
Got
So
it.
that
And then
means
the
that you
other
can
thing
open earlier. Yeah.
was the soundproofing. We are not installing any soundproofing.
Just 1 second. Sorry, I just don't want to agree to something that's not actually going to happen. With the application, we didn't realize we're going to be held to like I have to open at 11 every day.
Yeah, so basically the thought process for that stipulation is that we want to encourage daytime businesses so that places aren't opening at like 7 p.m. So we like to, you know, the way that the effective nature of it is that's opening no later than whatever time.
And can we amend that? I have no interest in opening at like at 7 p.m., but there'll definitely be days during the week, like, and if there's demand for it, we'll absolutely open. It's in our best interest, but it'll most likely start out more of opening at 5 p.m. During the week and then have the ability to open, and then we'll open early on the weekends. But I've spent a lot of time down there in the daytime right now, and like I would love for there to be a business, but I don't.
That's fine with me. I'm probably just, I have to imagine that I'm quoting from the questionnaire. So.
Yeah, that's my fault. Sorry, I didn't realize that you guys actually cared about the early part.
Yes,
I knew that the late part was super important, but we'd love
I mean,
to amend that.
yes, the early part is less important, but that's the intent is to.
Yeah, that might
encourage
also be my fault. Typically, when we file with the State Liquor Authority, we put the earliest possible hour just so that they don't ever get into trouble. So.
Got it.
Yeah, we would love to do it on for 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then we'll open, you know, I don't know, sometime for brunch hours or daytime on the weekends.
Anyone from the committee have any problems with that?
Go with it.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Sorry, there was another point about soundproofing. They're not.
Right.
The stipulation says that they're not installing soundproofing.
So I was working off of the space situation that said that you will so I guess it's more that you will address any soundproofing deficiencies as necessary with the sound engineer.
That's fine. If there's a complaint, they will obviously
Okay.
address it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a sound
That
engineer.
was our intention, was that they
Great.
follow up.
Okay.
If there are issues, that they would take care of
Yes,
it.
I'm unfortunately working within the confines of our PDF, so. Okay, I'm gonna try and edit it. Let's see. I will address that. The ice maker. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, so it's gonna say it will address any soundproofing deficiencies as necessary with the sound engineer. Okay, committee, any concerns, questions?
I'd love a pan bagnan on the menu, but that's just me.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna move this to a vote then, barring no further comments from the committee. Michelle Cooper-Smith, yes. Jamie Felber,
Yes.
Herman Hewitt,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Paul Sierros,
Yes.
David Crane.
Yes.
Okay, that's 6 yeses, so the resolution, the motion carries. We will send you the stipulations tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Paul, just wanted to, you froze for the last one, the 10 Delancey. Are you voting yes or no on that, or abstain?
Yeah. Yes, it was a yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is number 8, Dali NYC 37 Market Street. Are the applicants for that application here? Number 8, Dali.
She's still muted. She's trying to talk. As well as Chinese.
Is this,
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Stacy Weiss. Hi.
hi.
And my client is here. He's trying to unmute himself.
Okay. No worries.
I don't think he unmuted himself yet.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
hi.
No worries.
I'm here. Okay, you're muted?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna drop things. All right, I'm just gonna drop this application in the chat so everyone can follow along if they so please. As I'm doing before, I'll hit the top points. Okay, so this is an application for a full on-premise liquor license, and the premise is located at 37 Market Street between Henry Street and Madison Street. The proposed hours of operation are Tuesday to Saturday, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Operating a full kitchen, serving Spanish-style tapas until 12 a.m. all days, with a late-night menu served after 12 a.m. all days. Ambient recorded background music and live flamenco, Latin, jazz music during Sunday brunch, which I would ask you to define what hours that would be. I'll come back to that. This applicant has never previously been a license holder, but has 15 years of experience working in the food and beverage industry, most recently as the food and beverage director at the Williamsburg Hotel and Rooftop from 2018 to 2021, and before that at the Edition Hotel. We received quite a bit of resident input. I would characterize it as generally against the proposed hours of operation, asking for 12 a.m. Sunday to Thursday and 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday. So including we got a note from the pastor at the church next door asking for earlier weekday closing hours, and from the residents of Two Bridges Association. 18 residents who live within 2 blocks of the establishment signed a petition in favor of the application. So if you wouldn't just mind, could you just define what hours you would have the live music on Sundays?
Can I just tell you the hours are also changed during the week. We went back an hour on each one. So Neil, you wanted to amend the hours to
Correct.
right. Because he met with the Two Bridges Association, and he actually had much later hours. He had till 4 a.m. and he had music, and he actually made a lot of concessions when he met with them.
Okay.
And so he wanted to amend the hours to Tuesday to Thursday to 1 a.m.
Okay.
Correct?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Stacy, yes.
Right. And then just Friday and Saturday to 2 a.m. Just those 2 days to 2 a.m. And he's closed on Monday. And then Sunday, he's going to be open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So he did curtail his hours quite a bit. And as far as the brunch, the music on Sunday brunch, why don't you tell me about the music?
Yeah, so
situation?
we're hi guys, thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys taking your time out to meet with me. What we're planning to do with the live music element is we're not doing it on a weekly basis, meaning that I won't be doing it every Sunday. I'll probably do it once a month. When I have some special talent in from Spain, I'll probably book them once a month, but it won't be an every Sunday live music concept. It will be pre-recorded background music with a nice brunch menu paired with some great cocktails. We're only offering 1-day brunch. We want to keep our brunch 1 day a week, which would be a Sunday and not a Saturday. We would be closing at 9 p.m. on Sunday. But again, I'd like to reiterate that we won't be having live music every single Sunday.
What hours are you going to have that live music if you do have it?
If we have the live music and when we have it, it will be around between 2 and 4. 2 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be in the evening at all?
No, not at all.
No more than once a month during Sunday brunch. And I'll just say that don't ask, I'm not obviously not promising that we grant that anything that you ask for, but do not ask for less than you anticipate having, because your stipulation, if this is passed, you are held to that. So if you decide, actually, I want to have it twice a month, but your stipulation says once a month, that's something that's a problem for you. You're breaking your legal stipulation. So
Okay.
just, okay.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay. Okay.
And yes,
Anything else I need to clarify?
No, not really. I mean, he's interested in those hours, and he's, like I said, he gave up a lot of his hours, and he's willing to do that, because he compromised a lot with it.
And I actually, committee left out, okay. And committee, I actually left out one of the most important points, which is that this is actually not a 500-foot case. Because there are only 2 liquor licenses within 500 feet. So, okay. So committee, do you have any questions, comments?
By the way, we're very aware of that, and he's still compromised with all that.
Right. No, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that the committee knew. Thanks.
My question is on the music. What form do you think it will take? It would be like basic acoustics. How many pieces of instrument that you think you would probably have?
On the music, no more than a trio. No more than a trio band, live acoustic. Think like in the genre of Gypsy Kings, more of like the flamenco, Spaniard style music. It's a 3-piece band, no more than 3-piece band.
Okay.
And it would be more of an ambient addition, a complimentary addition to the brunch. It's not going to be at a level where our guests won't be able to carry a great conversation. It's going to be more of a background level of music when we do the live music on Sundays for brunch.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you're eating looks good.
Yes, it's dinner time, right? Okay, any other committee members have any questions?
Good.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
I like to add in that I was a longtime resident of that part of Chinatown. I lived on Catherine between East Broadway and Henry for almost 14 years. Both of my kids attended PS1, and I have a close connection to that part of the neighborhood. And just having an opportunity to come back to the neighborhood again, but this time as a business owner, is just very exciting and very special to me.
Can I ask one question? Because so typically when we're looking at applications for for restaurants, which it seems like this is what we're applying for, our sort of standard is 12 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and 1 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. I'm not saying that like that I'm opposed to what you propose, but can you just talk a little bit about why you're asking for the later hours?
So the reason why I'm asking for those hours is for the sole purpose that if I have the luxury of staying open till 2 to generate business, I'd like to have that flexibility staying open till 2. However, as an operator, if I am not having a number of guests dining and having some cocktails at my establishment, I will not be staying open till 2. I will be closing before 2. But I like to have the flexibility and the freedom to stay open till 2 if the business is there for me. So that's the whole reason for the 2 a.m.
I mean, he invested a lot of money also into that building, which was in very, very bad shape. So, I mean, it's something that he needs to be open he needs to be open a decent amount of hours right now to survive. He's not opening up early right now. As the gentleman before said, there's nobody there.
No one's there.
The earlier part of the day. Once tourists start coming back to the area, he would like to open earlier, maybe for lunch. But right now, I live down here also. I live in the area, and there's nobody here earlier in the day. There's nobody. It's a ghost town earlier in the day, and hopefully it'll get better. But right now, it's not. And so, hopefully, he can generate some business during the day, and he doesn't have to worry about the evening hours so much.
Actually, it's not a ghost town. I live there, and there's people.
I live here too. It's quiet. I mean, the only thing you really have is the courts open.
It's not that quiet.
All right. Yeah. Well, if you count the train, it's definitely not quiet, but
no, it's quiet.
Okay. All right.
Michelle, can I touch a little more on the concept of Dali?
Sure. Just like 30 seconds to a minute, please.
So the concept of Dali was created and inspired behind my 2 kids. My son's name is Dakota and my daughter's name is Liani, hence the name Dali. We will be showcasing a live immersive art exhibit during dinner service. Our concept is to provide a unique dining experience on that corner of Market and Madison. Both of my kids were born there, and it's just and the name holds a close connection to my heart. The neighborhood holds a close connection to my heart.
As in Salvador Dali.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to move to the public then. So if there's anyone here from the public that would like to speak, can you please raise your Zoom hand so that we can see you?
Right, am I allowed to speak from the public?
Can you please hold on one moment? We're just getting to everyone here who wants to speak. Please raise your Zoom hand if you can. Okay, sir, on the 646 number, do you want to start? Jeanette, did you just mute him?
I did, and I've now just asked him to unmute, but now I realize he's on the phone. There you go.
All right, sir, go ahead.
All right.
The 646 number.
All right. Yeah, my name is Johnny Chan. I've been in the neighborhood since 1970. Probably older than anybody on the committee. My dad still lives on 17 Catherine Street, where I met Neil Santos when he moved in the 90s. He's been a great neighbor. I met his wife. I know his kids. He's a good guy. Market Street is quiet. Trust me. I grew up in the neighborhood. I know Market Street is not quiet because of Mr. Foods on the corner, but in the daytime, it's really quiet. There's that Puerto Rican place that moved from Catherine Street to Market Street, and I think they closed up even. So it's good to have business in the neighborhood, revive the neighborhood, paying taxes. I've known him since the 90s. Good guy. I live down here and I work in Federal Plaza. So live down here, work down here. Been here since 1970. Older than anybody on the committee.
Should have told me
Serious.
that, Johnny.
All right.
Should have told me that.
Okay. Thank
Oh,
you.
all right.
Thank you for your time. All right, the next hand I see is Jenny Yu. Jenny, if you'd like to go ahead.
Yes, thanks. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny. I'm from the Residents of Two Bridges Association. I live a block from 37 Monroe. And, you know, unfortunately, it's hard for us to support the hours that Mr. Santos is asking for. We had met with Mr. Santos and he actually had agreed to a 12 a.m. closing on the weekdays as opposed to 1 a.m. And we were trying to, you know, negotiate a 1 a.m. closing, much more in line with what Michelle had mentioned about, you know, closing hours for restaurants that were more in line with eating establishments. So that we're kind of disappointed to hear that he had kind of went back on that for 1 a.m. to 2 and a 2 a.m. We, you know, definitely would rather have a 12 a.m. and a 1 a.m. Closing time. You know, when we had discussed with Mr. Santos, he had mentioned that he wanted to bring a more fine dining experience to the neighborhood, and he wanted to attract people from outside the neighborhood to come into the neighborhood. You know, well, since those people don't live in the neighborhood, they're not the people who will be inconvenienced with loud noise, you know, people talking outside, you know, smoking. I actually did a door-to-door canvas in 37 Monroe, and everyone in every apartment inside that building didn't speak English. They all spoke Chinese, and he had mentioned to us that there were people in the building that supported him. And when I spoke with them, they didn't have any idea what was opening downstairs. So I think, you know, some outreach probably would have been good, or at least let us know that you didn't actually do that outreach.
All right, thanks, Jenny. If you could wrap it up.
Yeah, no problem. And then lastly, this location is possibly within 200 feet of the Chinese Conservative Church, which is exclusively used as a church. If you measure it out, it comes out to be like 100, pretty close. So I think it warrants some more measurements in that aspect. But
thanks, Jenny.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
Just to address the issue about the 200-foot rule, it's the rule is, and Susan can expound upon this if I don't do a good enough job, is that it has to be on the same block and it's not on this, or the same street, excuse me. And because this
it's on
address
the
is,
same,
it's not, but
location,
I know, but the
it's a corner
door, I understand the door for this is on Market Street and the church is on Madison Street. I don't make the rules. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. So I agree it's arbitrary, but that's the way that the state has decided to do it. Okay, the next hand I see is Christina Zhang. Christina, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Christina Zhang. I live in Knickerbocker Village, a block away from this location. And I'm also a member of Residents of Two Bridges. And, you know, when we, just to echo Jenny, I'm a bit disappointed that Mr. Santos backtracked on the time. You know, we both agreed that midnight would be the closing time for Tuesdays through Thursdays. And we couldn't agree to, you know, a closing time of 1 a.m. on Saturday, Friday and Saturday. So I, you know, respectfully urge, you know, you guys on the CB3 committee to have a closing time of 1 a.m. on the weekend that's more in line with like, you know, the neighborhood. It's very, very residential here. You know, everyone keeps saying it's quiet. We want to keep it quiet. Already Mr. Fong's is like a blight in this neighborhood. There's like, you know, noise. I always see people hanging out there, you know, cigarette smoking, talking, like that noise carries at night. So I really want a 1 a.m. closing time on the weekends. And I think that is all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Christina.
Can I say something about the closing time?
Sure.
So if we agreed to do 12 a.m. during the week, that would be Tuesday to Thursday. And if we can keep the 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday, give up the hour Tuesday to Thursday. Because we close Monday.
There aren't any other restaurants open like 2 a.m.
Okay, all right. Stacey, we're just going to continue through the public and then we'll get back to the committee, but
okay,
discuss it then. Okay, the next hand I see is Christine Y.
Hi, thank you so much. I just want to echo all the other comments. I also live in the neighborhood. And for anyone who does not live in this neighborhood, that block and the blocks around there, there's a lot of apartments. And I believe there are apartments all above the restaurant. And so if people are up till 1 a.m. during the week or 2 a.m. on the weekends, it's really going to impact people that need to go to work. And I also didn't know if we addressed, will there be any like outside tables? Like during COVID, a lot of people have the outside area. I don't know if that was something that was going to happen also. I mean, and like you said, we're really happy to have a new restaurant, but we would like restaurant hours. It's a quiet neighborhood. It's extremely residential. And we want to keep it quiet at night as much as we can. Thanks.
Thanks, Christine. Nika, are you planning to have outdoor dining?
No, I believe I had clarified that with all three members from the association, Trevor, Christina, and Jenny. I believe Trevor had asked me that, and I told him that I would not be doing outside dining.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome.
All right, next hand I see is Trevor Holland. Go ahead, Trevor.
On cue, so I'll speak briefly because folks have already raised the issues, and it's mainly the closing time if you think about it. I know the attorney and the owner just offered 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. 12 a.m. on weekdays is obviously preferred, and if we could get that done, the 2 a.m. is a sticky point. If we could move that to 1, I think we could probably, I don't know if I'd support it, but I think it would help the residents here in terms of the quality of life. We all want to have good operators, and I'm not saying that, I'm not judging the operator, but I think this is an opportunity where if this person wants to be a good operator, those hours are pretty, I think that hour on a weekend and pushing that back is not that big an ask, along with the other stipulations. So that's just what I'm hoping to see.
Thanks, Trevor. Okay, the next hand I see is Regina. Regina, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Regina and I live at 31 Market, right next door. I'm a gardener. I get up at 4:45 in the morning to go to work. So I do have issue with the closing time. I've been in the neighborhood for 35 years. It's been a quiet neighborhood up until they had the fun club. After the fun club, it was Mr. Fong's. Then Golden Diner opened. And I just want to point out, Golden Diner, I'm just looking at their hours. They're open till 10 p.m. Not saying that he did this tapas bar is the Golden Diner, but it's a eating establishment and their hours, they're only up until 10. So we've had to deal with Mr. Fong's, and sometimes you get the loud crowd because we have the outdoor seating now. So, I mean, I welcome this restaurant. I think it's a great idea. I love tapas, so I don't have a problem with it. It's just the hours. And I know, I mean, I live in this building, I go to work and I see people out on the street going to work. I get out of my house by 6. So.
Okay. Thank you, Regina. The next hand I see is Jessica. Jessica, go ahead. Jessica, go ahead.
Hi, sorry. Thank you so much. Yeah, I also just wanted to kind of chime in also about the closing time in particular. I live within 2 blocks of this restaurant, and I think most of us that live in the neighborhood have been up on Ludlow and Orchard Street on that area, and it's just a cautionary tale as far as what can happen when restaurants and bars are open very late and people are out on the street. And I'm just really concerned about that kind of disturbance growing in what is a very residential and quiet neighborhood. So I just wanted to say I also support like a weeknight midnight closing and a 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday, and not any later than that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. Okay, I don't see any other hands. Committee, I'll turn it over to you. Anyone have anything they want to talk about here?
I just would say I would support the hours that the neighbors are talking about.
So 12 a.m. weekdays, 1 a.m. weekends.
Yeah, I think it's very reasonable, especially within this time. And if Mr. Santos thinks a couple of years from now his business is failing, maybe he'll open on Monday and get that extra time that he lost in the evening.
Okay, thanks, Herman. Anyone else from the committee?
Yeah, I agree with Herman.
Yeah.
I agree with Herman on the hours. I live down there. You're not gonna make any money past a certain time anyway. So even Mr. Fong's is quiet now. So I agree with Herman on that one.
Okay, Jamie.
Yeah. We have to remember, like, and I apologize for anybody who's aware of this, and I just repeat myself, that we only have, we only have like so much that we can do. And right now it appears to me that we have an operator with a restaurant that everybody involved seems to like the concept of, with a guy who has kids who went to public school in the area. And I don't think it's fair to conflate Mr. Fong's, which I have my own personal opinions about, not relevant here, which has a, I believe, 4 a.m. license, with, an operator who is presenting a markedly different business plan and who is not even approaching 4 a.m. operating hours or anything like that. Mr. Fong's has its issues 100%. Seems like everybody is appreciative of what Mr. Santos wants to do. Great. Food sounds interesting. He seems to be somebody who has strong ties to the community, at least in the past. And somebody earlier spoke on his behalf in that respect. 1 a.m. I don't think that because Mr. Fong's has a bad reputation that we should presume the same of a business plan that everybody seems to like. And I say that predominantly with the mind that the next applicant that comes in front of us might be somebody who has no ties and presents very, very differently. Then we find ourselves, facing an applicant that might have 1 a.m., 2 a.m. licenses with a model that is bar forward rather than restaurant forward. And whatever stipulations we might want to put on it, the SLA has their own opinions. So in my estimation on what we've seen and what we've heard, I'm pro the application. I don't know, does 1 a.m. all nights satisfy everybody as a middle ground? As opposed to another applicant that may come down the line?
No.
If I may add, if Jamie, you're done speaking.
Yes, thank you.
I kind of agree with Jamie. I get that Mr. Fong's is an issue, but to his point that like everyone kind of supports this restaurant, and I can kind of give or take on the hours because it's one restaurant, and it clearly doesn't seem to want to operate in the same way that Mr. Fong's would, so it wouldn't create the same noise. I mean, you got to close your doors at 10. You're not going to have outdoor dining anyway. I see that I don't live in that neighborhood, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on operationally that would cause issues at late hours. It's a restaurant that stays open late. It's not going to be very loud. So, I mean, I would rather a new business have more latitude on a block that has other vacancies than not.
All right, thanks, Jeanette. David, go ahead.
Yeah, I want the midnight 1 a.m. closing. It's going to work up at the SLA, and we should do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think just because of, I'm coming to myself now in this round robin, I think I also would like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. The reason why is because we don't really have a lot to lose because this is not a 500-foot case. So we are taking a position as the committee that that's the hours that we would like to see. Of course, the applicant doesn't need to sign those stipulations, and he probably will get what he wants at the SLA. But I think that just because it's not a 500-foot case, I'm not saying that he will definitely get whatever hours he wants, but there's like a decent likelihood that it'll happen because it's not a 500-foot case. But I don't think that as the committee, we have a lot to lose by doing 12 a.m., 1 a.m. if that's sort of the standard that we've set here for restaurants. And of course, like there's always the chance of coming back for an alteration. That's always an option. I think, please leave yourself on mute if you're not speaking. So that would be my suggestion, 12 a.m., 1 a.m. So that would be 4 of us voting for that. Right, I counted correctly. Paul, Herman, David, and myself.
I mean, I'm not gonna vote against it if it's the majority of the committee.
Right, no, I understand. It's a straw poll on where we're
Understood.
standing on hours, yeah.
I'll go back to mute.
I'll say I would rather give him more hours than not. I don't like vacant, like I don't like walking around in neighborhoods where there are a lot of vacancies. It just feels less safe, and I like the idea of a Spanish restaurant being on I'm not going to vote against this though. Like I'm fine if we go resolution that way, but I just want to state my case that I wouldn't have minded if the hours were later myself.
Understood. Okay.
Just to add, sorry, Michelle, just to add to Jeanette's point, I don't know, Paul might disagree with me. We're both like operators down in that area or thereabouts. You want a restaurant in this area where you're going to have at least moderate pricing comparative to other places in the city. It's hard to make money in this industry. It's a bad industry to start with. It's hard to make money. You don't want empty spaces. You want good people. You want good locations. That is something to consider. I'm not pro it or against it. Just it's something to consider if you like the applicant as a community. If you like the applicant and you like the product, something to consider.
Paul, do you have something to say?
My understanding, I do understand about it's a tough job of a restaurant, but then I'm puzzled that we'd have 10, 5, 6, or even 15 application every month for some form of liquor license in this neighborhood. So obviously somebody's making money, and if they're making money, then of course there has to be beneficial to the community in which they locate these businesses, and they must also be considerate enough to come to a resolution with the community, and so which means that they'll get community support, which is very important too. Because I would like to go into some of these restaurants when they tell me about fine dining and a glass of water is probably $7, you know, then Mr. Santos restaurant probably is the best place to go. But I understand that it's a restaurant, and I would like the restaurant hours that it's out. So I hope he could see that and maybe, you know, work with the neighborhood residents on that front.
Herman, I just want to say that I don't love using the like many applications a month as evidence that people are making money, because I think that sometimes, especially right now, that's because so many
No,
places
that's
are
I
closed.
wasn't saying it was, but I'm just
Okay.
drawing something it was.
Yeah.
Because I know
No,
they
no, I
only
understand.
make 10%. The food is probably just 10-15% of their profits.
Yeah.
Because I run a business too, and I know how what the margins are.
Yeah. Okay, can I ask Stacy, if we do 12 a.m., I'm just curious, this is not going to direct our decision here, but will your applicant sign the stipulations with 12 a.m., 1 a.m.? You're flipping the camera, not unmuting.
Mr. Santos, you're muted.
I think we're waiting for the lawyer.
I've asked them both to unmute. Hopefully that makes it easier to find the unmute.
Hi guys, I'm waiting for my attorney to speak for me.
Mute, okay. I think I'm muted.
There we go.
Am I
We can
unmuted?
hear you now. Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened here. Okay, so what, you know, he would go to 12 o'clock during the week, but he would really like to stay open Friday and Saturday to 2 o'clock. And I don't think that would be such a bad thing. I mean, we're talking about Friday and Saturday, 2 days a week, and it is a weekend. And I mean, I was listening to the other applicants, and I don't like to compare anybody to anybody else, apples and oranges, the whole thing. But it seems that, you know, I mean, he's been in the business many years, and he's lived in the neighborhood, you know, a while ago for many years, and he has a good reputation, and I don't think he's going to want to hurt that reputation. And he did make many concessions. That's also important. And another thing is, as you stated several times to the rest of the board, there is no 500-foot issue at all. And to go to the full board, we really don't want to do that. We don't want to make any waves or enemies or anything like that. But if we go to the full board, I'm sure he's going to get better hours than that.
Go to the full then.
I don't want to go. We don't want to. That's what I said. We don't want to go to the full board. We'd rather not. We, you know, it's for an hour. For him to all he wants is 1 hour more on Friday and Saturday. That's all it comes down to, really.
Okay.
I mean,
thanks. All right. Thank you. Yeah, understood. Thank you, Stacy. Okay.
Can we say something? Do you want to say something?
Sure. Go ahead, Nico. Yeah, go ahead.
So I would just like to clarify that because I would ideally like to get till 2 a.m. to be able to stay open till 2 a.m. if I had the opportunity to stay open till 2. But as an operator, if I don't have anyone in my space past 1 a.m., I will be closing at 1 a.m. It doesn't make it feasible for me to stay open as an operator to pay additional labor cost and keep a place open that's not generating any revenue. So my whole point is hoping to stay open or having the permission and the support to stay open till 2 a.m. But if we're not open till 2 because we don't have any business, I'm closing at 1 a.m. So I like to just leave it there with you guys.
Then Friday and Saturday. I agree with
Okay. Wait, hold on. Herman, hold on. Herman, let Paul go first. Paul, you speak first.
Okay.
I think, it's right, and I think 12 a.m. is fine, and then Friday, Saturday too is fine too, because I live in that neighborhood too.
All right, thanks, Paul. Herman, go ahead.
No, that's what I was just saying. I think I think Quadros and I are sort of working in tandem here for some reason.
Are you guys like
Yeah.
together? You've got like a cosmic connection right now that I don't know about.
That's what I was going to say, because the fact is that we would probably spend an hour discussing an hour. So I would change my stuff and say that's what I would agree on those 2 nights at 2:00.
Okay, all right, I'm fine with that as well. Jamie, Jeanette, I assume you're okay too?
12-2.
Yeah.
Copy that.
And it's
Yeah.
only Friday and Saturday is 2 a.m.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. David?
I'd rather see one, but I'm not voting.
All right, okay, all right, thank you guys. Thanks for everyone for taking the time to discuss this. Okay, any other comments from the committee before I read stipulations out loud that we've been discussing? No? Okay. All right, pay close attention, everyone. So this is an application for 37 Market Street, liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Full service restaurant serving Spanish tapas. Kitchen open during all hours of operation, but there's a late night menu served after 12 a.m. Opening no later than 4 p.m. all days. Closing Tuesday to Thursday at 12 a.m., Friday and Saturday at 2 a.m., and Sunday at 9 p.m. You will not use outdoor space for commercial use. Are you still planning on having a doorman?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Excuse me 1 second. Are you opening at 5 or at 4?
I believe we had changed it to 5. We had changed it to 5.
5 o'clock. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
All right, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
You will install soundproofing. You will have a closed fixed facade with no open doors, no DJs, no promoted events, no event at which a cover fee is charged, no scheduled performances, no more than 4 TVs. You will not apply for an alteration without coming back here. No pub crawls, no unlimited drink specials, no happy hour, no wait lines, no a staff person responsible for loitering. You may have a no more than 3-piece unamplified acoustic flamenco Latin jazz band on Sundays, only from 2 to 4 p.m., no more than once a month.
Correct? Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, all right. Anything else on the committee before I move this to a vote?
Do you want to be that specific about the music, as opposed to perhaps saying Spanish jazz? I mean, that's so particular.
Yeah, I know that's what I was thinking. You wanted to say jazz, Spanish music, but
I think I told you let's change it to world music.
Okay.
Just a wider genre of music.
acoustic, right? You want acoustic?
Correct.
Acoustic world music.
Yeah.
Could be different genre.
All right, got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you for that, David.
Okay.
Welcome. I'm a fan of live music. I'm putting out a concert this
I
week.
appreciate you.
Okay, all right, I'm moving this to a vote, hearing no further objections or comments from the committee. Michelle Cooper Smith, yes. David Crane,
Yes.
Jamie Felber,
Yes.
Herman Hewitt,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Paul Ciros.
Yes.
Okay, thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for the members of the public that came to speak on this agenda item. We will send you stipulations tomorrow to sign and return to the office.
Yes, okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right.
I just need to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back.
Thank you. Have a good night. So, hello? Yes.
Okay, all right, let's continue. Next application is number 10, 50 Avenue B is the applicant for this here.
Oh, God.
Joey's here. I'm here.
Hi, Joey.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, Rosa.
Hi.
Okay, all right.
Rosa Ruiz, representative for the applicant.
All right, thanks. Okay, I'm just gonna hit the top points here. Let me drop the application in the chat. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is an application for a full on-premises liquor license at 50 Avenue B between 3rd Street and 4th Street. This is a 2-level establishment with a C of O of 183 people. Proposed hours 12 a.m. closing 12 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. This location has been unlicensed since July 2018. Previously, it was Lovecraft. Before that, it was a fair. Before that, it was China One. The applicant holds an active beer wine license at Joey Bat's Cafe at 129 Allen Street, where there were 17 commercial 301 complaints with NYPD action necessary since 2018. We received a note to the office from a member of CB3, who is also a nearby resident, writing in support of this application. We also received a note from the East 4th Street Lower Avenue B Block Association supporting a license for this applicant, but did not specify if it was, they didn't vote on, or they couldn't conclude support for beer wine versus full on premises. So long as the applicant agreed to certain stipulations, including closing by 12 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and closing by 1 a.m. Thursday to Saturday, only having acoustic live music in the basement and installing soundproofing so that no noise is heard in surrounding residences. We received a note from a building resident who was concerned about the concept here because of problems with previous tenants and the tendency of the basement to turn into a nightclub that created quality of life issues such as noise rising into the surrounding residences and patrons of the club or of the bar exiting through the residential lobby. 34 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor of the application, and we received, I would say, 4 character references from folks who live or own businesses near 129 Allen, where the applicant is currently operating an establishment. So did I miss anything there, Rosa or Joey?
Yes. So I have emailed an updated application because we have met with the block association.
Okay.
And we actually decreased the hours by an hour during the week to close at midnight, and then Thursday through Saturday till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clarifying. And then anything else?
He is he also lives and works in the neighborhood, so he's been a long-time resident as well. We had a very good
introduce
meeting with
myself.
the block association on Saturday.
Let me help you
Yes.
out. Yeah, guys, so my name is Joey Batista. I've lived in New York City 9 years, all of them in the Lower East Side, 8.5 of them, or actually 8 of them on 2nd and A. So I'm really familiar with the area. I only recently moved during the pandemic to live right above my cafe to try and make it easier to manage because we had to reduce, I had to close 4 shops and just focus on Allen Street. Yeah, so I'm really excited for Avenue B, mostly not only because it's an area that I've lived in, it's my favorite part of the city, but I feel like being closed three years now, or I think almost 3 years, and that area being kind of dark at night, especially when the deli closes, because I think they close earlier than I believe pre-COVID. I really like to do there what I've kind of done here, and that's really integrated myself very well with the neighbors and illuminated the spot to make it more comfortable and more appealing to the neighborhood. It's also, like I said, I've lived here, many years, and I love it here. It's my favorite part of the city. I don't plan on going anywhere else.
Okay, thanks. So just one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to also ask Susan to speak on this, is in your application, you had, I mean, I've also seen what you are putting, like what you've advertised what the space will be, which is a live music and comedy venue. So the zoning for this location, I'm not sure if you've spoken to your representative about this, does not allow scheduled performances. And we as a committee do not make recommendations for things that do not match the C of O. So Susan, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say about that.
Yeah, so I just want to say something to that. We're not going to have scheduled performances.
You're not?
No.
Okay, because the reason
So we're not going to have scheduled performances.
Okay, so I mean, I know that you are doing scheduled comedy performances and other things at your Allen Street location, which Susan can speak to this more about the issues about doing that like outside, which we've never really had to address before, but I myself have walked by there and sort of like wondered what was going on because it's all outside. And I spoke to another member of CB3 who lives nearby, and they were also similarly reported that there seems to be some sort of like just a lot of activity going on there, including scheduled performances and live music outside. And I understand, Rosa, that you're saying that they're not going to be scheduled performances. I don't really understand how you have a live music venue and comedy venue without having scheduled performances. And so I worry that this is not the right space for the concept. But Susan, do you want to speak a little bit more to the zoning?
Yeah, well, the zoning, so Allen Street is strictly commercial. This is residential with a commercial overlay, and there's different grades of commercial overlay. Like Avenue A is less restrictive. Avenue B is more restrictive. So it's not an entertainment zone. And your C of O specifies use group 6A, which says you can't have music, which is generally music journals and that kind of thing. But there are not scheduled performances. So like I said, it's not an entertainment zone. So I'm like Michelle, I'm just not clear what the method of operation is.
Okay, so if we can speak about that, and Joey can give a better explanation.
That would be helpful because I'm having a hard time understanding.
Yeah, so
and I don't have a problem with the concept.
It's not scheduled for. Yeah, so it's not scheduled performances. It's not that he has a designated night or anything like that. Joey, if you can explain what it is that you're doing, because he's really just expanding on the menu that he has over on Allen Street and bringing the concept over to Avenue B.
But he has entertainment on Allen Street. He has outdoor entertainment.
Yeah.
This is
So Joey can give a better explanation. Joey?
Yep. Hi guys. Yeah, so can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the objective on Avenue B is to basically move everything, because I'm sure you guys are familiar. If you live in the area, you know that the ability to have the outdoor space is the reason why my business is still even open right now. Because I closed 4 locations during COVID, and it was just me and my mom working on Allen Street, and we never closed. I was working through the window, and then I was the first one to build the outdoor structure. And I live here. I love my neighbors. I want to be respectful to everybody. So the objective of Avenue B is to move things inside. So we're going to be expanding on the menu, offering more Portuguese items. The first floor, the intention was always to be just the same as I have there, a Portuguese cafe, savory pastries, some new, with a potential liquor license, Portuguese cocktails. And then downstairs was really just to kind of isolate if we did have a comedy show or an acoustic. We tend to have a Brazilian acoustic full hall band. That would kind of be the ideal location for it. Now, I recognize, and I always want to be respectful of my neighbors, because I'm actively looking for an apartment in the area too, because I want to live there. I want to be close. I want to be able to manage it as closely as possible. We're installing soundproofing this week on the first floor. The block association call was great because they had told me about in the past 3, 4, 5 years, I'm not sure when, that there were issues with possible sound resonating from the basement up to other floors. So this was great news for me because now, because I had just assumed that we're in the basement, it's not as affecting as the first floor, since I had already started soundproofing the first floor. But I will soundproof the basement for sure, and we can even do testing with the neighbors upstairs to make sure that nothing is impacted.
Okay, if I could just say, I live a block away, so I know the area very well, and there were tremendous, just FYI, there were tremendous problems with 2 previous businesses there. Some of the people who are on here tonight supporting you used to email me almost every day about the problems. And it definitely was music in the basement was among the problems. So I'm just giving you that as background on how the necessity for really monitoring the operation.
Yes.
And I will say, I remember it vividly because of the huge number of complaints. Music in the basement was an issue. And I would certainly say, it sounds to me like you're not planning anything outside. Is that right?
No, there's really nothing. Go ahead, Joy.
No, I was just going to say, Susan, part of the move there is to lessen the need for the outside, whereas Allen Street is heavily dependent on the outside. Avenue B, the whole point of it is to go inside. I even just this week installed gates so that we can close and even offer an extra layer of soundproofing to the first floor when necessary. I do recognize that, and it probably was potentially an issue if they stayed open late on the first floor with those bifold accordion windows open, then yeah, especially in a small, on a close-knit street like that, it would certainly echo up the buildings. So I have agreed on the block association call. I agreed that we can close up the outside at 10 p.m. No problem for me because it really isn't a huge part of my, my business there. I would rather just keep everything inside where I can control it. It's just easier to control everything inside than it is outside. Whereas on Allen Street, I kind of don't really have an option.
So I still don't really, if you said that you wanted to move the concept from Allen Street to Avenue B, but you advertise scheduled performances on Allen Street.
Yes, yeah, we've done acoustic.
No, I mean I'm looking at your Instagram, and you have a weekly comedy show schedule with times and dates. That's not allowed at this location.
Right. Okay. Well, I have eliminated the signage and all. The sign that you're looking at no longer exists anymore. I'm perfectly okay with not having scheduled comedy shows. If those are the rules, those are the rules. I'm fine with it.
I can kind of explain why. When you have a scheduled show, you have a group of people coming in and a group of people leaving, and it has a lot more impact. And that's why it's allowed in more commercial areas, but not allowed in the more residential areas. And so it's just not allowed. It's not that we're saying this, it's what the zoning, does not allow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, no scheduled music either. So you can have, as Susan said, it's intended to be incidental music, sort of like we were discussing with the last gentleman, that it just, happens during brunch. It's not like, scheduled, like people, it's not advertised as something that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and he understands that.
Okay.
He understands that because we've spoken about it, again, we've spoken about it with the Block Association, and we've spoken about it in depth together.
So how are you going to manage the performances if there's, if people are free to come and go at any time during performances? How does that work?
Well, I guess it would be the same as it is now. If we're not supposed to be scheduling any kind of performances, I guess it's just I'm trying to understand the true, I guess, the exact definition of the scheduled performance. Does this mean I shouldn't be posting anything if I happen to be having an acoustic Brazilian band in the basement? I should not be sharing anything on social media, or I'm not sure.
That's exactly what it means. Is that you are not, sorry, go ahead.
Say music on Saturday brunch music or Saturday whatever music, but you're not going to say 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
No.
I see.
And
Okay.
that's, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. So he will have some type of entertainment, but it's not going to be advertised as to any specific time.
Okay.
I just want to jump in. I know your spot on Allen. I live nearby. I love it. I think it's great. I don't think that anybody has gotten a chance even to speak to their opinion of the application. We're literally still talking about the legality of it. I apologize if I'm wrong. I don't think that you, how is somebody supposed to show up to a comedy show that you're not doing comedy literally from open to close? It's not like you just show up, it's like UCB and there's just comedy going on, although UCB is a bad example. So in order for what you do on Allen Street to be successful on Avenue B, like it's literally the wrong zoned building. I'm pro what you do. I would be remiss to let you like support this application because it would just get you in trouble. You would be like, it's literally against the law to do what you're suggesting.
Okay, well, everybody's focusing on, okay, so he's not really a live entertainment place. He's more about the pastries.
Yes and
about
no.
the food that him and his.
Yeah, yes and no. His Instagram is dope, super high energy. The drum bands, the music, the dancing. I see the comedy shows. I think it's cool that you offer a space for comedians to do small shows. I like it. I will buy it all the time. You can't do any of that in this location. I know you said you were talking about how you'd already done soundproofing. I hope you haven't already gotten into the location because you're not, I'm not going to be the one calling 311, but it's a small neighborhood, it's a densely packed neighborhood, and you're asking for so much trouble if you think that, unless you plan on doing comedy and live music every single day incidental to your pastries. Again, I'm pro you, your vibe. I see you there all the time. I'm pro everything about what you do. I'm not pro, you're not allowed to do it in this location. It's really as black and white as that.
Thanks, Janie. Susan, can you
Sorry.
talk about what is music versus comedy, like entertainment?
Well, what the zoning specifies, it says may have music, but not scheduled performances. So many venues have music, during, it may be all hours of their operation or most hours of the operation. And people expect that when they eat, there's music, but they're not coming for a performance. So with the zoning code, it specifies ticketed events, it specifies scheduled. So, and what they're saying in essence is that it's not an entertainment zone.
So what does that mean for comedy, Susan? Yes or no?
There is nothing in the zoning that specifies comedy. It specifies scheduled. They're not, when they write the zoning text, they're not trying to think of everything that may be happening. They're thinking of categories. So they're thinking of again, if it's scheduled, you have a group of people coming in, a group of people leaving. It has a lot more impact. It's not appropriate for a very residential area.
Right. It's not supposed to be an entertainment zone. That's the whole point. And I like I said, I don't see how you have comedy without scheduling it. Like I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense, really. So okay.
Joey, can you explain how you were doing it?
Well,
and the reason
we
why?
used to have. It's very. I mean, I could easily, if we're not scheduling anything, I could just easily I can imagine the same with the acoustic music. It could just be, I could just have it on, like, for example, a Saturday afternoon, and I don't have to promote the hours that it's playing. I'm sorry, it's just because I'm thinking about it the same way as you are. How do you, I guess it comes down to just not promoting it, right? To just not really saying nothing is scheduled.
I could say music is very different. You can walk in and out, music is playing.
Right,
You're
yeah.
not gonna come in the middle of the comedy act.
So Susan, he was never having comedy to begin with. The only reason he started even doing some type of comedy was because of COVID and things that were happening during COVID, because his place was very small, to just be able to have something that would, like, so this way he wouldn't go under and you would have another closed establishment. That was the only reason.
Are you planning to have comedy?
I'd like to, if we are not breaking any rules. I want to be respectful to any rules or laws that we have. And if,
So what I think we're all saying, including you, is how could you possibly do that? You absolutely can do it with music. People do it with music all the time. But how do you do that with a comedy act? And so what we're saying is a comedy act, if that's what you're planning as part of your method, doesn't seem to fit for this location.
And that is not the main concept. It was just if. It's really an if.
So I think now that there's a better understanding of the situation.
Yeah, it's really if. It's an if.
So, but there's no more ifs. So now that you understand the situation,
yes,
what is the applicant's plan for method of operation?
So the main concept of the method of operation is to bring the concept of the pastries and more savory items over to Allen Street.
Okay,
so let me help out a little bit, guys, because I feel like I can definitely interject here. The Allen Street concept never had comedy originally. All of that happened because during COVID, I couldn't keep my business alive until I could figure out a way to have people sit down and have some pastries, have a beer, have a glass of wine. I'll be honest with you, it is not ideal. And that's kind of why Avenue B was a way for me to move inside. It doesn't have to include comedy. Comedy just came as a result of me just trying to figure out a way to keep my business open. The original concept did not include comedy. It didn't even include music. It was just the cafe. And by moving inside, I can have some ambient music. We can offer more pastries. Now we can serve some nice Portuguese cocktails. And that's really the main part of the concept. If you see it on my social media, it's literally because I had on a way to say it. All of that came as a result of me trying to figure out a way to survive. I built that shed outside before anybody else did, because I was like, I have to provide heated seating so people will actually sit down. Otherwise, it was always empty. And back then, because I was never closed, this is during the worst part of the pandemic. I was never closed outside. It was just me and my mom, working from inside the space. So it isn't ideal. And I completely agree with you guys. And at the new place, it's just more about taking the initial concept inside. If you're telling me that we can't have comedy, then I just have to deal with it. But it wasn't, my business is not dependent on the comedy, is what I'm trying to say.
Why don't we then just stop discussing it if that's how it will pan out in the end, and leave the committee out of this approval process at this time, so we could get along with what we're doing?
What do you mean, Herman?
Well, it seems like he's agreeing that that part of his project doesn't seem feasible.
So then will he agree to the method of operation to state music and not mention comedy at all, or say no comedy if that's appropriate? All we need to know is that there is absolutely no possibility that there will be comedy in this location on Avenue B.
Right. Or maybe a comedian is there and they just walk in when the regular people is eating.
I think
Okay.
it's
He
complicated.
cannot promote it.
I think
So
it's
if not,
I mean, listen, I would love to joke about my life and just do, open mic.
okay.
Okay, all right. I'm cutting this off because I hope we have made it abundantly clear to you what is allowed here. I'm just gonna go, you still have on your Instagram that you are opening up a multicultural cafe / comedy / live music with dancing. So I think I hope we've made it very clear that almost none of that besides live incidental music is allowed at this space.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead, Susan.
It's also not zoned for dancing.
Yes.
Yes. And that's why I submitted an amendment. That's why I submitted an amendment application to take it out.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Committee, are we going to public now? If there's anyone here from the public to speak about this? Okay. All right. If you're here from the public to speak on this item, please raise your hand. Your Zoom hand, excuse me.
Yes, hi, Frank Gonzalez here.
Okay, wait, hold on, Frank, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right, Frank, go ahead.
Hi, Frank Gonzalez here, community member, born and raised in the neighborhood, part of many different organizations. Probably the one I'm most proud of is chaplain and soon to be deacon at St. Mark's in the Bowery Church. And I'm talking about Joey's Cafe and his mother, which I known, and they've supported the local community garden down the block. They're very generous at the Garden of Humanitarians. They also supported the largest book bag event called the Why Not Care LES Festival, which is pretty much we gave over 2,000 book bags to our NYCHA residents, particularly Little Wall, Jacob Reese, all the way down to, Smith Projects. So I'm here to tell you that I voucher for Joey and his mother. I think the concept is very unique, just the pastries alone. If you haven't tasted the pastries, holy moly, you're really missing out. And I did mention I'm born and raised here on Lower East Side Avenue, Avenue C. And I think it's a great concept. The whole Portuguese menu would be a great part of our community. So thank you. And yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Frank. Okay, Kenyelle, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Kenyelle Hernandez here. I'm speaking as a regular community member. I live down the block on 3rd Street, and I'm born and raised in the community in the neighborhood. And I've seen Avenue B transform with the different restaurants outside. And when I went to see Joey's Cafe, it's different. It's definitely different. They have a different style, different vibe. He explained what he was doing, what he wanted to bring to Avenue B, which is bring from the outside to the inside, which to me, that's cool because we have so much outside on Avenue B. It's nice to think of someone doing something for the inside and kind of bringing a different style or vibe to the neighborhood. And Joey and his mom are very nice. They're wholesome. Everyone over there loves them. And I think they bring the same, vibes over here. And he has been very interactive and engaging to the community. He's contributed to my GoFundMe page. And I have seen him volunteer with Frank and other organizations in the neighborhood. He wants to get involved and see what he could do, which is something different that most owners don't do. And that's kind of the highlight of him coming to Avenue B. He wants to put lights outside, which is a good thing because this area is dark, because it's not on 3rd Street, it's on 4th Street. It's a little dark right now. I just think that, Joey will be a good contribution, a good addition to the neighborhood, and I support his business. Thank you.
Thanks, Kenyelle. Okay, that's all I see, and I think we've beat to a deader about the music, etc. Oh, sorry, I see one more hand. Luke, go ahead.
Thanks. So
I was part of the Black Association that met with Joey. Seems like a nice guy. But you know, this concept is a little bit nebulous right now. It's been stripped of the music, it's been stripped of the comedy, it's been stripped of the dancing, and so now it's a pastry shop with an application for a liquor license. So you know, this is a building, we've gone over that it's not an entertainment zone, but it's also, you know, a residential building, 25 different units in here in this building. I think that it's not appropriate to have a full liquor license at this time. Maybe sometime after he's sort of established himself as, you know, not contributing to this very problematic corner, then revisit it. But, you know, even the application that you have before you doesn't exactly say what the concept is at this time. And he says, I want to move the concept, but he can't move the concept. He wants to do comedy, but he can't do comedy. He wants to do music performances, he can't. So if he's going to be successful, he has to not adhere to the rules, essentially. And he's saying, I will adhere to the rules, of course, and that's great. But so what are we left with? And, you know, I know you got a letter from someone talking about the building, but, you know, there's an air shaft that consistently all through it, many prior applications, has the volume goes up to the 4th and 5th floors. So that's a problem. There's a stairwell that's adjacent to the interior stairwell of the restaurant or the establishment is adjacent to the tenant's stairwell. So you hear all those conversations. So that's also not a great reason. And there's no room on the sidewalk really for any seating. And so there's like a lot of good reasons why this is not a great fit. So maybe at this time it would be more prudent. I think that, you know, I was heartened to hear Jamie say, you know, it's black and white, you know, this is not the right space for it. So given that, let's at the start make it a beer and wine license and maybe see how things go.
Right. Thanks, Luke, if you could wrap it up.
Yeah, okay, that's enough. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, anyone from the committee wanna chime in after all of this?
I guess I just have a question. I know his application says one thing. I think we've made it abundantly clear and everyone understands now that the application as it stands doesn't work. Is it okay if we, would we continue with the resolution as long as it kind of revised for the things that weren't compatible if the applicant were to want to continue in this new operating idea, which is the same thing just minus all these shows, which I'm not saying just these shows, but I mean, it seems like a pretty simple chop to just say, okay, well, I'm not going to do the shows and the music. Or does he need to like submit a whole nother application?
Oh, no, he doesn't need to submit an application at all. I think we've made it really clear what he can and cannot do. I guess, Joey, the question is, are you, is this still something that you want to move forward with, given the parameters?
Yes, absolutely, because
Yeah.
I have to future-proof my business,
Yeah.
and with my lease here ending in 3 years, and there's new building owners, I don't know what the future is for me here, so I need to continue selling my pastries at the very least. That's the core of my business. I ship a lot all over the country, but I do sell a lot of those pastries, and I know that with the walking traffic on Avenue B, even just that will be a huge upgrade to what I'm doing here now on Allen Street.
Okay, Susan, go ahead.
It seems to me there's confusion. No one is saying no music. It's not being stripped of music. There is music. It's not scheduled and there's no dancing and no scheduled performances, but there is music.
Yes, and I agree with you, Susan. So he is going to have music, everything that you said. He's not going to have any scheduled performances. He's not going to have anything of that nature. And he's going to, just move over there, and it's going to be basically the same concept.
Okay.
He's a really good neighbor. He reaches out to everybody. Listen, I've been doing this a long time. He is a really good operator.
Okay, thanks, Rosa. Clint, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I did just want to clarify, in our agreement with him, that's what we did say, was that he could have acoustic live music at background levels in the lower level. So that wasn't even in our stipulations, that we had agreed to no music, but we agreed to background music. because it was the amplified music that echoes through the building, through the walls.
Okay, thanks, Clint. All right, Paul, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, it's exactly what you guys been saying. I mean, you know, it just doesn't work. That's it. So can't say much more.
Okay. Herman.
Herman.
Well, given my experience with the huge problem that beginning probably in the early 90s or even probably before with the restaurants at that corner, 4th and B, it was a terrible problem. That specific place was awful. And I'm not sure what business is, you know, if it's going to be successful, but as long as you eliminate the fact that he cannot schedule the performances or the comedy doesn't fit the area, and if he agrees with that,
Which,
then
yeah, which we are.
which I understand. I could go along. I could go along with that process.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Herman. David.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with the current application from the community's perspective, or at least from mine. I don't want to speak for the whole community, but I think it's acceptable that way. I'm a little concerned about whether have you thought through, the whole business plan, especially, we've excised a bunch of it. We've talked about that at length. I hope you make it well.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the same boat. Like, as long as as I've said, we've made it abundantly clear what you can and cannot do. And, Susan is the one that will have to deal with any issues if you're not abiding by those. So she's here bearing witness to that, as are all of us. So we really hope that you take to heart that this is not an entertainment zone, and, that it's a residential building, and even though it has a commercial overlay. So, okay.
And he does.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna read through now the stipulations. So please listen carefully that we've been discussing. Okay, so this is an application for liquor, wine, beer at 50 Avenue B for a Portuguese restaurant with a kitchen open, serving food during all hours of operation, closing by 12 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and 1 a.m. Thursday to Saturday, opening by 9 a.m. all days. You will install soundproofing as necessary in conjunction with the sound engineer and ensure that no sound is audible in any surrounding residences. You will close any front or rear facade doors at 10 p.m. You will not have DJs, promoted events, any event with a cover fee, scheduled performances. You may have live, acoustic, unamplified, incidental music at background levels in the cellar level only. You will not apply for an alteration without coming back here. You'll not participate in pub crawls. You'll not have unlimited drink specials. If you have a happy hour, it must end by 8. No wait lines. You'll have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. And you'll close all outdoor dining by 10 p.m. and not have any speakers or TV monitors. Okay. Anyone from
outdoor use?
I'm sorry?
Did you mention outdoor use?
She did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Closing by 10.
Yeah, close all outdoor dining by 10.
Oh, closing outdoor use by 10.
Yeah. Okay, committee, does that all sound good? Any objections?
Is there really any space? The sidewalk there is about 6 feet.
11 and a half, actually.
Or 11, yeah. There's nothing you could do there. Obviously nothing. And then crowded with the space across the street, and that street is totally all narrow already. So I would even consider the fact of outdoor spaces. They shouldn't be using any of those. It's a narrow sidewalk, very narrow.
Well, I was on you following the same rules I had on Allen Street. As long as I leave 8 feet of sidewalk exposed, for walkway, then it should be okay. That would leave 3.5, or I believe it's 11.5 feet is what I measured. So leave 3.5 feet up against the building. So maybe little table and chairs, like one skinny row, would still keep me within those limits.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. That's fine with me, but people take advantages of those things sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
They do, but he doesn't.
They also have the road bed available.
Yeah, and Herman, they have to come back to us for expansion onto municipal grounds now, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, committee, any other questions, comments, concerns before I move us to a vote?
No.
Okay. All right. Michelle Cooper Smith, yes. David Cream,
Yes.
Jamie Felber,
No.
Herman Hewitt,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Paul Sierras.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 5 yeses and 1 no, so the motion carries. Thanks everyone for your time, everyone who came from the community. We will send you your stipulations tomorrow morning. Please return them to the office as soon as possible.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time,
Thank you.
guys. Really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Have a good night.
Thanks, y'all.
Also, nice shirt, Paulo. I like that jersey.
Okay, committee. So we actually have 2 resolutions to consider now that are separate from the applications. I will share them on the screen. So these are resolutions I'm hoping will help with our time and help applicants. Actually, we addressed this issue of checking zoning. I'm trying to get. Okay, for some reason Jeanette, would you mind sharing? For some reason mine's not. Either one of them, it doesn't matter. They're in the folder. And Jeanette, you're sharing your whole screen, just so you know. Yeah, that first one's fine. Okay, so this first resolution would be guidance. Oh, can you make it a little bigger?
Wait a minute, I have to get my magnifying glass.
That
was a joke. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so this would be what I would consider, I mean, it's a resolution, but it's basically guidance to applicants. I was referring to this at our Monday meeting when we talked about Roberta's with the unlicensed spaces. The idea is to give ahead of time guidance to applicants so that they maybe take a step back and think about the space that they're applying for before coming to us. You know, the hope is that we deter is a couple-fold. One, I know that Susan gets asked this a lot, right? Susan from lawyers and applicants, do you think I'm going to get approved at this spot? What's going on in this spot, right? So this sort of, the attempt at this is to lay out our general perspective, right? So it's something that Susan can just send to applicants. It'll be on the website. The other thing is to avoid situations like what happened tonight, right? That we want applicants to be informed before they walk into the room, because it's a waste of our time and it's a waste of their time when we have to educate them in the meeting. So this is so this hits on a couple of things. The first bullet is about the previous unlicensed spaces, specifically in applications subject to the 500-foot rule, which is that in these, there are very few places in CB3 at this point that are not subject to the 500-foot rule. We heard one of them tonight, but there are very few other spaces. So, but we wanted to call out some particularly saturated areas. So Avenue A, St. Mark's Place, and the upper lower east side. So Allen Street to Essex and East House to Delancey. But leaving latitude within here to say this could be the case in any space, I think basically in CB3 that we would be hesitant to approve an OP license in a previously unlicensed space. The second bullet is, you know, for these sort of applications that have been licensed forever, continuously, or whatever, that we think will probably be approved by the SLA, that we're going to put on strict stipulations. And also to say, like, we've seen this a lot, you know, on like Stanton Street. And for example, we want to encourage applications that are lower impact. So for example, in January, the former Pizza Beat space, we approved an application for a 12 a.m. all nights restaurant closing. And then last month we did across the street at 84 Stanton, another restaurant in the former meatball shop that had 4 a.m. Now we have 12 a.m. So looking for, you know, we're encouraging lower impact applications in those saturated areas. And then the third is what I was referring to, the problem that we had tonight, which is that you really please check your zoning before you apply, because we don't want to end up spending 45 minutes talking about how you can't have something that you want. The hope here also is that, like, it seemed like this applicant had already basically broken ground, right? Like, not realizing that he had maybe chosen a space that wasn't perfect for his concept. So, you know, the intent is to help applicants, it's to help us, it's to help the office. So I don't know if anyone, you know, please, you know, chime in if you have any changes, additions, you know, if there are any other areas you think that we should include to highlight, if there are any other pieces of guidance you would like to give applicants.
And this might not, whatever. You know what I think is nuts when I see it is people coming up without representation. I know not everybody can afford it, but people will be agreeing to or getting involved with things that they don't understand. And I think that should be highlighted.
So how would you phrase that though? Because we can't tell people to hire representation.
Can we not just say it's generally advised? If not, whatever.
To have representation?
Yeah.
No, I don't think legally as a government agency, we can tell people what they should or shouldn't have representation.
I also don't feel good about that statement. Like, although one can present better with representation, like, I don't want to set the precedent that you will do better if you spend more money getting here.
Is there something that we can say, Susan, though, about like, please refer to like I think
Like,
the general sentiment is that we want people to be informed when they get here. Like, is there a way to frame it that way? Like, you know, please, you know, if you have questions about the SLA process, like,
Yes, Susan.
no, don't.
No.
But like, you know, is it like go like check the
I am not
SLA
the free
website,
lawyer.
or is there like, you know, something like that?
I'm sorry, Michelle, I didn't hear you.
So like, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, should we say something like, you know, if you have questions about the like we keep many of our former applications online, or like, is there a place on the SLA website that they can go to? Like, are there anywhere that we can point applicants
The
to?
SLA doesn't get involved in zoning at all.
No, not about zoning. Jamie's just talking generally about like being informed about the process, I think.
the big thing about this establishing business and, you know, I go this stuff is that I sitting here listening to a lot of people that come to liquor license or whether they're located, that 65 or more % of them haven't done due diligence in terms of zoning or anything. I mean, they have a little money and they want to come to the Lower East Side because they think they could make a lot of money on doing business, but they have not thought it out. I mean, most of the time I understand I'm sitting here and the committee members are technically giving them advice on how to practically run their business.
Okay, so if I can say, you know, we get these calls all day, every day. And there are a couple of reasons. I will, first of all, some of the questions they ask, I say these are state rules. You have to contact the state liquor authority. Except for very basic things, I will not tell them how to do things because we have been sued, we have been threatened to be sued, that kind of thing. I'm not gonna represent on any legal issues. And I think we have to be, it's something everybody in the office, I tell them, you cannot do that. And besides that, I've had people tell me, I'm calling to ask you because I can't afford a lawyer. Well, our job, we have a lot of issues on the Lower East Side that we need to be in, that we actually are paid to deal with every day. We can't be free lawyers.
Yeah, right. No, I don't think, maybe there's a way to phrase it like, please come to the meetings as prepared as possible. Like, our time is precious, something like that.
Can I retract my suggestion?
May I suggest that we add something like, prior to your application, like CB3 would also recommend that you review other meetings, attend other meetings, review past applications, because that's all public record somewhere. So if we can share like a link of where past applications have been or past questionnaires have been, or at least a link to our previously recorded and uploaded meetings. I think that'd be sufficient, because that kind of points to Herman's point that like a lot of people don't do their due diligence. If you sit through one of these meetings, there are at least 3 applications. You learn a lot about the process that way. And maybe just saying like CB3 expects a level of diligence on each application before coming before committee. This includes, but is not limited to, reviewing your application more than once, or like attending other meetings. I don't know, just other like things that are of public record that could help them navigate their decision. So I think attending one of these meetings is one of them. Looking at the prior applications and questionnaires is another one, which I would say is not easily searchable on our website right now. So maybe finding a way to add that link somewhere.
It's under questionnaires.
Yeah.
I guess I'm looking for like the minutes and the resolutions. Like, it'd be very helpful to see like what previously has been resolved on, because then they can be like, okay, let me model my answers based on this resolution and this questionnaire in last month on like a street that was neighboring mine. Like, we all are doing public research when we do the diligence on these applications anyway. So kind of giving them more of a cheat sheet before they show up.
Can I?
Sure.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
So what I was going to say, it is true that some people have an advantage by paying a lawyer, but I can tell you from 17 years of experience that it's not going to deal with the zoning issue, because I have specifically very experienced lawyers I know well said, look, here's information from DOB. You can't do this. But what is their incentive? They're making money by going ahead with it. And if they hire a zoning lawyer who will try to fight it, that person is making money. So you got to look at the incentive, and you've got to look at reality. These people that come in because, it's really cool to have a bar on the Lower East Side and I'm not going to have representation. You're right, they're not going to do due diligence, but they're also not going to go through all of that stuff. The questionnaires, I think, are very easy to find on our website. Every resolution is on our website. You search by the address or, title of that kind of stuff. All that information is
but I think that it's worth, I agree. I think it's worth calling it out here, just being like, kind of like it's a little like, it's a nudge,
very briefly, because I'm going to say the more you write, the less people are going to read. It's just the way it is. So I would put it very succinctly.
I said, prior to submitting your application, CB3 suggests you review previous CB3 SLA questionnaires, resolutions, and meetings, which are available on the CB3 website.
I might also add, because the third bullet point says CB3 always adheres to zoning regulations, maybe start this clause with CB3 tends to rule on applications similar to other establishments in the area and in recent history, because that'll indicate to people, why should I care about previous applications? Give them the context that we like to operate.
No, I think that the point of saying this is to just give them a model rather than that it's we're gonna say
100%, but I think but part of that isn't that because we tend to if one area we're trying to lessen hours, we might as well say, well, it's part of why we want you to look at what's happening elsewhere in your neighborhood. at other, I mean,
I think we kind of already, I think we already say it for applications in problem areas. And to Susan's point, fewer
fair enough, fair
words
enough.
are better. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, committee?
Yeah, I would just, where you have meetings, I would put meeting videos.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are we ready to move to a vote? Hearing no objections? Okay. And so Susan, you'll post this on the website, right? Once it's passed a full board?
Yes, we have our section of CB3 policies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We'll put in there.
Okay, great.
I think it's a great idea. Just don't be disappointed when a lot of people don't read it.
Yeah. But we're making an attempt. You'll put your mouth.
I think the problem with this whole liquor license or rental space is that the moment you think about investing money in something, you should do, and I use the word due diligence, and that's where it starts. If you miss out all of that process of where you're going to locate your business, what's the problem, foot traffic, all of that kind of stuff, where I get the money from, who I'm going to hire. If you don't have all of those things together, you show up at the community board, a liquor license, requesting approval, and we still will have to teach them. And like Susan said, you can't be telling them things or provide advice from the board at all. And I think people should think about their business from the beginning and not wait until they submit an application to the SLA to find out all the things that they might have a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
By that suggestion, can we move the prior to submitting your application to like the first bullet point?
Sure.
Because to Herman's point, maybe you'd be discouraged if you attended one of these meetings and go, I'm not ready for this. And then
yeah,
give up altogether.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here, any other comments before I move to a vote? Okay. Michelle, yes. Herman?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes. Sorry, it's hard to
Jamie?
remember.
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Okay, and Paul left because he's flying home. Okay, thanks, guys. This is hopefully, we're making an effort.
No downside.
Yeah. All right, Jeanette, do you mind pulling up the other one? Thank you. Okay, so this resolution.
Out of curiosity, do we have non-committee members just hanging out still?
Yeah, Clint is interested in what we're saying.
Jamie, this is what you would do on a random Wednesday night? Hang out
Listen, I'm just seeing, I don't know. I see Luke Henry still on here.
well, Luke's a former committee member, so. So this resolution is we're reiterating something that has been brought up in this committee before, which is that I don't think it's really been a problem actually during COVID very much, Susan, but that applicants that were approved for administrative beer wine licenses coming back very quickly asking for an upgrade to a full on premises. And so this is actually more than guidance. This would be that we will not consider upgrade resolutions from administrative approval beer wine with less than 1 year of operation. So the idea is to save us, some agita. Oh, sorry, Herman, go ahead.
I don't know if I want to put a 1 year stuff. I think you should say they must provide evidence of, I don't know how to say this now, but evidence that they have sufficient experience of operation in the neighborhood before they come back. If say 1 year, then you'd have everybody coming back in 1 year.
Well, I would just say, I don't know how we define sufficient, but Susan, go ahead.
1 year, the reason I picked 1 year is for two reasons. One, it gives every season, so we know how they operated. Season, and it's also the time SLA generally gives. Like when the SLA will say to an applicant, we're approving you for this, you can apply for something else later. They generally say in 1 year. So that's an accepted standard. We have some people have come back in a few months. They're just using this as a way to get a license without having to come to the board. And then it's easier to ask for an upgrade. And this is to prevent people from using our administrative approval in an inappropriate way. And I'm going to say again, as Herman knows and as Clint knows, we've had this stipulation before the committee for a couple years. Everyone always thinks it's a great one, and it never passes because no one can agree on the time. Clint's
David, go
So,
yeah.
what happens when an applicant does apply anyway? Does this give us the ability to send this up to the SLA and say, look, we told them, and we now ask you to deny this upgrade?
No.
It'll happen.
Yeah, yes, we can, when they would then come to the board and we would say, your stipulations that you signed for the beer wine agree to not come for a year. And I suspect since the SLA uses the same kind of criteria and tells applicants the same thing, I would hope and suspect that they would support it.
Okay, good.
Okay. So,
All right, anyone else from the committee? Okay, if you want to, I know there's some people from the public who'd like to speak. I see Luke's hand. Luke, go ahead. And Clint, if you want to speak, raise your hand.
I know I'm not speaking just because Jamie was dying to hear from me. Why not make it not less than 1 year to address Herman's issue about having people be in good standing? Thanks.
I'm sorry, Luke.
Thank you.
Well, again, it was trying to use the same standard as the SLA. So,
So it would be like applicants granted administrative approval, blah, 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 may not come back with less than 1 year of operation.
right.
yeah, but I mean, I changed my mind and agreed to what Susan's explanation as to the process.
May not return. May not apply for a class change. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my brain right now. May not apply for a class change after less than 1 year of operation.
Or may not apply until having completed 1 year of operation.
One pedantic matter, does it matter that they can apply, like can they apply ahead of their 1 year of operation, or do they need to apply fully after 1 year of apply, then set the application?
Yes, they may not apply.
They may not apply. Well, I don't know. I thought we were trying to be in line with what the SLA would do, so I'm asking.
That's what the SLA does.
So you can't submit an application until. Got it.
Okay. Clint, go ahead.
Okay, I like the idea of putting the not less than 1 year. I think that maybe does kind of address Herman's issue. My one other question was, and I agree with Susan that it gives you a full year of operation, which should get you through all the seasons. My only, and I'm not sure how you would change this, but if someone opens on July 1st, July and August, they're just opening. They're not really, we don't really get to see how they truly operate. So, but I don't know how else you would address that. It's just, that's just my comment on it. If they open in February, yes, we get to see all seasons, but that's just a comment. And my one other comment is that just to remind, this is an administrative approval process. So they don't have to agree to this. So by them agreeing to this, we're not forcing them to do that. They can come through the standard process if not. So I think that's another reason that the SLA would support this. They're choosing to agree to these stipulations.
Right.
And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Clint. Okay. Anyone else from the committee have any edits or concerns about this? Okay. Are we gonna do it finally, Susan?
Years, it's taken years.
All right.
I'm confused why this has taken so long. Like what?
I have to admit that I was like a holdup the last time this came up because it was during COVID and it was, my point was sort of like, it was hard to, it was just like an unfair time to like judge people. But I've now since decided that I think in some ways COVID has made everyone's true colors really come out. So I don't think that, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, everyone agreed it was a good thing to do. It was just the details.
Yeah. Okay, all right. And that being said, I'm gonna move this to a vote. Let's put my vote card. Michelle, yes. David.
Yes.
Jeanette.
Yes.
Jamie.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
All right, guys, thank you. Thank you, Luke and Clint, for helping. Appreciate it. All right, see y'all Tuesday.